Ah, la 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 la. Do 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 dee da. Shazam! I guess I should move over here a little bit more. So I'm kind of off to the side. InShalla and Ashe. Blessings to you, my energetic beings. It is I, once again, Tonya D, and welcome to um, the morning of the full moon. Are you feeling the reality of what is to come with this harvest? I know I sure am. The feelings in and of the body. Virgo is the body, it's the home. It's the home, the vessel of our spirit. And we all have Virgo somewhere, a sixth house, a Chiron, or something in our charts. But welcome to today's daily snippet. I am your host. I am a practicing holistic Sha'medium and a subtle energy surgeon. My thing is to merge these indigenous technologies, the spirit of the Dagara tribe, the ancestors, the message and the knowledge that I've gained from Burkina Faso and my elder Melodoma, my friend, the subtle energies, the elements, the elemental beings, taking things from the elemental realm into the imaginal realms with offerings, rituals, and prescriptions, just to really add to our personal ingredients, the juice in our container. But really, my intention is to truly merge these indigenous technologies with the subtle realms and what I call the etheric highway to assist us each into navigating our inner genius, our prime directive, just really reintroducing us to the cosmic magical being that really resides within. My name is Tonya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. And if you haven't already, please be kind and do subscribe to my channel, YouTube, Tonya D. Hit the bell button so you're notified. And also, if you really don't mind, liking the video, commenting, sharing, so the YouTube algorithm will echo me out to suggest myself to like-minded users in the galactic universe, creating a village, a tribe, a community of unity, along with other social channels like Instagram, TikTok, and my podcast, Musing with Tonya D. But if you're curious about the elemental realm and you want to discover and explore your innate nature, Voices of the Otherworld, my Immersion, the Elemental Highway, it's coming up next is actually the nature realm, the realm of nature. And we all have nature about us, our innate nature, our day-to-day nature. It's unique to each and every one of us when we are vibrating from our authenticity. Nature cycles just like we do. We are in the season of the spring, and we have a spring season ourselves. So just answer the call, pick it up, join me. I'd love to see you on the other side for that. However, this full moon was one of recalibrating our spiritual assets, connecting to spirit, the realm of spirit, possibly having this self-realization that all of these realms actually exist within us. And are you utilizing them to your personal highest good and gooder, right? Or do you slide back a degree? Do you find yourself sliding back? So it's time to really move forward and step into our skin to be the story that we are born to live. You know, it's like, what is our innate wisdom? What is the ancient wisdom of our soul? You know, do you ask your body what the story is that you're born to live? Our bodies give us telltale signs all of the time. Signals, sound waves, you know, gut senses from the people we meet, situations we're in, events that take place. It's like we have our own spiritual sounding board, our own frequency, a tuning fork. And I've been recalibrating and returning things back to sender, back to where they came from, not the subscription channel that I subscribe to. How about you? You know, it's like cleaning the physical is assisting us to cleanse the spiritual, the emotional, and the mental, and all the frequencies or spheres, I guess. It's like, what highway have you been cleansing? Part of it for me is a knowing of where I do and I do not belong. Maybe something no longer serving you or your highest good, and you no longer feel as if you're a slave to that authority channel. You know, I am my own inner authority. Fear, control, those are like waves, like someone is waving at us, if you will. Not to go down the rabbit hole, which I tend to lately, but do you fear the outer authorities, the people around you telling you what a good life is? You know, that's a container. So how you should act, maybe how you're supposed to behave, what you're supposed to work or do for a living, how you're supposed to clean, how you're supposed to dress. So we are, and we all have our own innate authority. So you, my light warrior, you are doing great. You are magic. And I truly believe that to be true. So coming off of the frequency of this galactic juicy moon, I love her. Truly I do, the goddess. The waves are still there. So it's important to hold the tone, hold the note of the moon as we're coming from this juice, the embodiment of our bodies. It's like from soul to spirit. And now we have this frequency of balancing these threads, these waves, these conscious waves. So it's like, is your heart committed? Is it aligned with what you wish to attract within the harvest? Like seeking these threads. It's like going fishing, really. Like literally throwing the hook, if you've ever gone fishing, with the bait and seeing what you're going to catch. And just remember to hold the faith, and like in 6 months, see the future being that you wish to be. There's no need to be a Nelly, a negative Nelly, washing all those threadways. Keep the negative thoughts and those feelings scrubbed. It really is like doing a subtle energy scrubbing. It's like psychic surgery. I just prefer to say subtle energy surgery. Sounds less abrasive, right? But the moon is now in the season of Libra. So now she's in the waves of harmony, fairness, balance, love. It's Venus, right? What we're about to open up to, Libra. So our inner world feels these virtues. And later today, it's going to be in our day-to-day realm. And when we're going to see them, we're going to feel them kind of playing out, balancing these waves. So it's all that is. It's floating towards us. So because we are in this flux of being something new, as if we're coming out of a cocoon and shedding skin like a snake does, we've been doing this for a while, or at least I have, I can say, cleansing the cosmic cobwebs in order to manifest the story, the life that we really truly want to integrate and be in. We've been cleansing the foundations, parts of the moon's delight for us, cleaning, reconciling, clarity, etc. A new faith barometer, an outlook on our future streams. And I'm not saying that the world outside of us isn't appearing like chaos. What I'm saying is, yes, I see that. However, I am going into this stream, this wave. I am upcycling out of the old. Capricorn really is the old. It's the old ways that really aren't serving us. So I would say, hey, buckle up, Buttercup, and go to that new stream. You will see the old streams. However, we don't need to participate or subscribe to those old ways of doing things because we are recalibrating to a new being. You might feel a little bit like a topsy-turvy, like a turvet in the realm of the Fae, but maybe you feel lost. The foundation is really calibrating. It's doing something different. It's going to feel unfamiliar, and it might not feel really safe or secure. It might not feel rooted. So in order to manifest the treasures of our heart, we literally need to hold the force, the heartfelt commitments, being devoted to the narrative of living our soul story. Our mind might just take us down memory lane. Our ego, getting extra juicy, acting out our inner character. So really holding the frequency of the feeling that you want to feel constantly is the force. It's like the Jedi force that really resides within us. Our feelings carry so much frequency and vibration. So I would say hold the force. For me, it's going to be of my peace and my joy and my happiness. Those are my virtues. Something inside myself so I can share my peace, my joy, my love, my light to the village, to my circle. So you just might have found that your circle is getting a boost. The people, the places, the things that once were your high point are actually seeking a higher mountain, an elevated otherworldly perspective, just holding the faith channel and subscribing to the channel of faith, like you would to a subscribing to Netflix, I guess, but I'm subscribing to the other world. So you get this feeling that we are in the comforter, the comforts of spirit, and that we are really connected to the Holy Grail. So say that out loud. I am connected to the Holy Grail, the world of spirit. Feels different, right? So there's like plants and animals, etc. They're all there as well. So you can connect to any of that. But the spirit channel of the Piscean energy, we all have this as well. We all have a house that Pisces rules. We all have a planet, Neptune, as well. We have a home sign. It's a season. So we all feel this somewhere. So it's holding the channel of faith and flicking out the cosmic debris, all of it. The self-doubt, the negative thoughts, the lower feelings or frequencies like fear, Do you self-sabotage yourself? The bullseye, that's the price. So you really want to keep your eye on that arrow. I pulled that card the other day. And focus your intention on the transformation that you seek to see in your life. And literally be in it and be observing. Be in that observation station, seeing the wills and motions. What do you value, and are you feeling valued? So being in a space where we are valued is a huge playground. Being around people, places, or things that aren't valuing us steals our light. It's like magnetic energy just sucking it out of us. So be in a place of gratitude. And for example, my son, just from switching from where he was working to where he is now, made a huge shift in his life just for one thing. He feels valued for his expertise. He's not being talked down to or treated less than, whether he has or has not gone to college and done the things, right? Simple things in our ingredients create huge benefits. So just watching him soar, just being appreciated is super amazing. Loving it, I celebrate other people's wins, celebrate their victories. It's awesome to be the joy, right, for the other, because it's the joy of ourselves. It's a resonance, it's a rebound effect. So for myself, it's like identifying and committing to what it feels like to feel successful or in charge. Eek! Sometimes that feels kind of scary for me. And not only feeling it, but more importantly, memorizing and syncing the feeling of what that feels like. And in doing so, you can fill out into the future threads. It's then this confirmation that the path is in alignment. You can see the flow, or if it's not, the feelings, right? You'll feel both ways. So holding the tone in our bodies, the emotional tone of not just the day-to-day relationships, but the relationship that we actually have to ourselves. Self first, right? The oxygen mask to the others after, just like the airplanes. So holding the frequency energetically will attract the people, places, things that are of that calibration, the frequency that we frequent. So what feeling do you want to embody? Because our bodies do that. It's a sounding board. Knowing the heartfelt feeling, like, do you know that feeling, the feeling you want to feel? Because the body never lies, and neither do our feelings. They really are a barometer. So just holding the channel, the note, the stream, the frequency all day for the next 3 days, and allowing the sauce to simmer. It's like spaghetti or lasagna, the more it sits, the juicier it is, and just allowing our feelings to simmer in the sauce and realizing you are the sauce, you are the juice. So if you can take the time and the space today, even to cook, create the real sauce, right? The sauce, by the way. Do things that are organizing, moving furniture around. I'm hopefully going to clean off my patio, the leaves, or at least start that project, the process, warmness, right? So if we are producing an effect in our physical, we are also producing it in the other world. So then we've got this evidence as being placed on this otherworldly altar. So just by creating in our day-to-day, the outer realms see us and are going to show us just by simply holding the faith, the act of doing something instead of sitting around and not moving. So it's like showing faith or the universe that we're going to create something so the other side can see that we are in this exploration of living our best life while we are also enjoying the juice of the earth plane. Hey, and don't get me wrong, I have conversations on the daily with the universe. That really is my go-to sauce, whether it's the God channel, my mother, she transcended, friends that have transcended the earth plane, plants, animals, you name it. I'm like, hey, help a girl out. What's the plan here? Show me the path. I need the vision, or whatever's going on. But that's kind of the frequency of today. And along with the messages, because they piped right in. Can't make this shift up, I'll tell you. But we have air. I went with the elementals, but we're still in this elevated spiritual frequency. But to manifest, we come from the crown into the earth star, the elemental grid. That's why I went with the elementals, because we are going from the crown, the heavenly realm, into the earth star. So air, this is like a whole brain integration. So really, air, sounds, it sets the vibrational tone of our lives, our sound grid, basically. So the thoughts we have, how conscious our language is, what are we speaking, inside voice, outside voice, how integrated we are in using both sides of our brain, how we work with prayer, intention, or meditation. They're all part of this air magic, right? So in the air realm of air, let's say that 5 times, this is where we begin to see our life from the big picture, the larger galactic frontier, just working with our visionary abilities, areas where we learn to soar, we can fly. So when our thoughts and our vibration are really in harmony, Libra, with our life's desires, see, we have this today, and also the mental realm, the air, the mineral. So this is where we hold the beliefs, our belief systems about our life. But a lot of times we often don't consciously choose our belief system. They are based on outdated mental models that were passed down from our lineage, society, patterns that we learn from watching other people, or we have this idea, our role models, right? So it really takes a lot of dedication and focus to shift and change these mental models, these mental streams, to choose to set a conscious tone, notes for our life, the sound waves. But today we have our etheric allies, which I love the etheric realm. A lot of people believe in unseen guides, myself too, teachers, angels, allies, plants or otherwise, nature, right? Just working consciously with them, rituals, can really assist us tremendously in life, like opening a door. You know, call them on internally. You can ask angelic guidance for assistance. But really, that's all that's needed to bring this unseen realm immediately to our side, because we live in a free will plane, right? So just asking for assistance or guidance, that's really what's necessary before it can be given. But just know that the moment energy is called in or invoked, the person you're calling in responds and honors that request. But the request, of course, is going to look a little different, possibly, or it might look a little different than our original picture of how we think it should be. So really stay open to the possibility that when you look at your circumstances and that larger life, mountaintop perspective, point of view, it really has a different meaning. So you kind of have to ask yourself, would you like more assistance in the inner realm? And if you would like to receive the assistance, just call for it, bring it in, but also remember on the other side of the coin to be thankful, see the light, be optimistic, be grateful. So the etheric highway is the realm I literally prefer to play in, the beings that reside there, the otherworldly, the unseen. So call in a plant, an animal, an ascended master, an ancestor, you know. We have literally a plethora of options, actually, that we can call into. So that's super saucy. I really like the sauce and the ingredients, can you tell? Now, water. What I love about water, this is great. It's also curious because we have this energy. We've got the energy of the moon, Pisces, this realm of water. It's heightened, right? So water is clear, it's clean, it's the currents, right? It's those streams. It's our emotional realm. It's fluid. Space and time are fluid, right? And it flows within our life and it keeps things supple, alive, sustaining, growing. It's just the juice of water. And without water or our emotional realm, our feelings, our nature can become dry, brittle, and hard, like the ground without any rain. So we need this rich essence, this substance of our feelings to keep our life lush and growing. So it's the element of water. This is where our soul essence, it loves to exist. It thrives there. So the clearer and the cleaner our emotions are, the more space there is for love. And we have more of that to move into our life. So it's in this emotional realm where we learn to love ourselves fully, which we should be doing, nurturing and healing our inner child, our inner baby, our whoopee, creating a space for clarity, flow, and love. And even in divinations, water is on the essence of my cowrie shell divinations. So I really love the elemental realms and the voices that come in there. But to move freely in our relationships with ourselves and also to the other, this is where we learn emotional maturity to care for ourselves emotionally, which I think a lot of humans are going back to that. And hopefully we can keep our children in that thread line, right? Or how to respond to, instead of react to life and to others. It's a place of neutrality, the neutral zone. There's other words I use, but I won't say those live. But today, water is teaching us about the pace The pace of water. So is it the winding, lazy rivers? Is it a calm, still lake? Is it a rushing waterfall? You know, and as I say those out loud, I can literally see them in my third eye. Is it the ocean, or is it a tidal wave? So if you like the intensity of like a rushing waterfall, you may be questioning why things are so slow when your life is at this calm and this stillness, just traveling gently down a stream. You know, I just saw that sign, merrily, 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 gently down the stream. But also at other times, you know, when we're experiencing like a tidal wave of intensity. So it's like, do we want things to be calmer? So we have this understanding that water kind of reveals to us to allow the emotional energy, the frequency that's moving through us at any given time, to just simply allow it to be what it is. So we need to learn to work within the pace of our emotions. So it's like, what does water want to share with us today about the pace of our emotions and like feeling into that frequency, right? But it is the moon as well, so I found that super curious. Actually, all the cards today are kind of curious. Spirit. So this is our last message, Spirit, which again, I also find curious because we are in the season of Spirit, upcycling Spirit. Spirit is the unified field. It's our morphogenetic field, which is a big word. The morphogenetics, which is fascinating, truly is. But it's our connection to the spiritual realm, to the divine. It's the spark, the essence of spirit that each and every one of us has. It's our connection to the goddess or the god. It's also, this connection is where the energy of our creation lives. It's our interconnected spirit that's guiding us, our higher self, our Sira. So throughout life, to really bring our own essence into its fullest expression, its bounty into this dimension. So spirit is rich, it's sustenance, it's the light that flows through all of us, and it connects us to all of the elementals in this world and outside of us. So it enables all of these elementals to hold our world and take shape, take form, in both the outer realm and the inner realm. It's this unseen ingredient where these elementals can work together in any creation. So when we sit quietly in nature and reflect on our own innate nature, our authenticity, our soul's authenticity, we can literally feel the substance of spirit. We probably need to literally get out in nature more often, right? But however, the divine feminine, you know, there are a bazillion names and expressions for the divine feminine, right, throughout the world, whether it's Isis, Gaia, Kuan Yin, Mother Mary, Aphrodite, Shakti, Awedians, Freya, right? Those are just only a few of the variety of expressions, but just often called the goddess. I prefer goddess, right? But it's the feminine counterpart to God, the anima and the animus, right? So in many periods of the story of creation, the divine couple express this balance as they work together in this sacred union. But the divine feminine, the expressions there, give men and women a way to more deeply know themselves in that connection to spirit, the divine. So, how is the divine calling to you now? What does she want to share of herself? And also, how well do you know her, that aspect of yourself? So, for me, this feels like the blending of the moon and the spirit, kind of this, all of these cards, really, to embody the feelings of spirit and that connection. I feel like it's super juicy. Just to have all of these cards, really. Water is the moon, spirit is Pisces. So yeah, I'm loving all of it. So, and then on the elemental highway, you cannot make this shift up, I'm telling you. It's just as funny how it all goes. But this is a Zhang metal, or a yang metal horse of a day, a Geng Wu. The tiger, the horse, and the dog. So the hour of the dog creates what's called a fire trinity. So fire is going to be a force. So being that our main element, our day, is born in the spring, the metal. The rabbit month, that yang metal is dark, and it needs some yin fire to illuminate it. So yang metal as an elemental, it's only useful when it's forged, right? Because it's unnatural, it's unrefined. So it's like finding rocks or silver or gold or whatever in its organic form. So it can only be done with yin fire, turning the dark metal into a useful tool. So yang wood We've got some wood there, right? That's going to support the yin fire so it can do its job. That's what fire does for metal, yin fire anyway. But the absence of yin fire, the yang fire, can also be used as a replacement. So our horse has yang fire characteristics. But yin earth is also needed to support our day because yin earth carries moisture, which houses metal in the soil. And we could also use strong wood and bring in more metal as well to support our day. So yang metal is, again, like raw iron. It's represented by metals and minerals. So it really needs to be forged. It needs to be processed, become something useful. So we kind of need to do something useful today. So as a person, if this was, but not just on the day. So I talk about the day master, but if you were born in a yang metal year, or I think if you had a monkey on your animal, a metal, this kind of all goes with all of that, really. But this is your character of how you're influenced in your day to day and kind of the energy of today and the elementals. But as a person, yang metal, they have the potential to be honed into something like a sword, like Excalibur, my guardian of the galaxy for me. That's what I call in. But once you can forge them, you can create something better. They become driven. Oftentimes they complain a lot. They could take on a variety of hardships that life throws at them and literally survive anyway. But above all else, brotherhood, despite their kind of stern facade that they put on, people under this sign, they value friendship highly. You can count on them to offer a helping hand, especially if you're in dire need. That's the kind of people they are. But they also have a greater, higher, elevated sense of justice. They will fight for what's wrong, morality codes in a way. And they have this do or die kind of attitude. They literally will go after whatever they want. They will cut through anything to achieve their goal, cutting like a knife, right? And if that's the case, where they don't have any direction in life, they need more experience. They need the tougher training. And once they've been forged, they can achieve anything and everything. They kind of need the kind of a systematic approach, if you will, or a systematic way to accomplish something. But once they are thought of the best way to proceed with something, they stick with it. So they think it out and they follow through. So these people, literally, they're bound to be successful in life. At whatever they do, if they have focus and they have clarity, the elements of water and metal, right? Clarity is water, focus is metal. Otherwise, they feel lost. So they truly are aiming to be at the top. So again, for people who fall under a yang metal sign or a day master, being number one is everything. And if they don't grab the top spot, they feel as if they've actually failed. So it's obviously a disaster, right? But at the same time, these people are the ones who really don't back down from challenges, if you will. They seek to win. They seek to jump over the hurdles. They have this strong sense of pride. And they're all about keeping up their refinement, their appearances. They focus more on saving face than really anything else because these people also value their pride almost too much. They won't admit that they have committed a mistake easily. They are often blinded by their emotions. They seem to be cool most of the time, kind of collective. When you think about metal, it could be cold, right? It's a yin element as well, even though we're talking about yang. Yin is the opposing force. It's metal. But once they're in a fight, I've witnessed this too. They tend to lose their ability to stay rational. They will fight until the win, whether it's necessary or not. Because once they're in this fight mode, they don't care why. Even if they have nothing to gain, they will soldier on. More than anything else, they're very competitive. That to them, what happens is it defines the image that they have of themselves. So they tend to compare themselves to other people oftentimes, but they're not afraid really of failure or the possibility of it because they keep leading on. They're highly concerned literally about their appearance. So if they're always, they always want to look cool. They're always on top of things. So they often appear to be too tough to crack in a way, to the people who really don't know them. So since they have this fear of kind of falling short, they also compare themselves to everybody else, which is good thing and not good thing at the same time. But they feel great when they know they look great. So it really is about the shiny appearance. Reminds me of the genies in my cowrie shells, actually. Metal. All these things. This is where my brain goes. But they'll also fight. They fight for what's right. So the people under the sign are the ones who cannot allow unfairness in the world. And I think we're seeing this, right? They're coming out of the cobwebs, or the closet, I guess. But they fight for it, especially if they have this feeling to help someone they love, especially a close friend. But in the same way, they still have a tendency to be stubborn, hasty in a way that they act, which then leads down the rabbit hole, right? But this energy is strong if it's born in the autumn. That's its season. That's its peak season. And in the other seasons, and being that our day is weak, it's born in the season of the rabbit, it needs more metal, elemental balance. Earth on some occasions can provide some strength as well. But only if it's combined with water, so that is yin earth. Dry earth will make the metal shine, might scratch it a little, but yang metal, again, represents the still. So when it's strong, it's going to prefer yin fire to create the shape, to forge it. The yang wood can become useful and effective, but the yang fire can also be useful. But yang metal people, they're really specific for their need for pressure. So it represents this heavy raw metal in nature. So it needs the fire element literally to make it forgeable. So if you know somebody, a fire person would literally help a yang metal person so they can forge something. It's like a foundation. But this day is actually great. It's got the yang fire below it. It's kind of melts it a little bit, but just allowing it to be shaped into a weapon or a useful tool. So without pressure, people with yang metal people, they can become extremely lazy. They're unable to act on things or make decisions. So elementally, we go through these elements at different stages of our life cycles. So at a young age, that's the best time for young metal people to go through tougher trainings like military service. They're highly competitive, so sports or a school like a charter school, demanding schools, because that's going to build their foundation for a future. So putting them in a habit of accepting pressure. They need that guidance. They need the sternness, which is, that's a key mindset for their development, which is fascinating. So, because my son has this, so I did energetically, I got lucky, and he was in a private school for a little while, and he did love sports. He did want to go into the military. So that kind of frequency, right? He needs the guidance, but now he's like this shiny penny. Maybe it's because his boss is a fire. I've never looked, but it's fascinating either way. But our day does need some wet earth and minerals, so a mineralized soil. So did anyone do a ritual with planting the seeds and sending your intentions and just creating that, just stating it out loud using your voice and planting it into the seed last night with the moon? If not, you can still do that offering today, right? We're still in it. I would really send love into that seed, planting the harvest to really blossom out into the fall. Exciting, right? So setting the intentions, the action of doing the intention. And with all of that, our crown is online. We've got our Earth Star to continue into this manifestation of bringing our unique spiritual acumen into the Earth Star. It's like manifesting into the light of the divine, being at that comfortable pace, that peace, and just utilizing our etheric allies, if you will. Sounds super juicy to me. I would hold the note of extinguishing the negative energy, be more compassionate, bring in some inner peace, connecting with our angelic realm, whatever that is for you, out into the etheric highway, and really having them assist you in just releasing any grief or fear in your sacred foundation, and plant that spiritual connection into Mother Earth. Sacred space today, just really holding the note and the sound and the wave, maybe rattle or drum, bring in some tones, cleansing us off. But I would affirm that I am embodying my chalice, adding the ingredients like the super juicy sauce, of gratitude, abundance, and I am successful, whatever that looks like, because I think success is even just as grand as everything out there. Abundance, you know, we all have a village of what that looks like. I would not let anyone break your line, your path, your connection to faith, the channel of faith, and just manifesting the dream, solidifying it, forming it, and coming into the harvest and seeing you yourself there. So, you know, if people aren't in alignment with your authentic self, sometimes they have to upcycle away from them. And it's not a feeling that we are better. It's just that frequency. We don't want to hold space for that anymore. Just allowing the juice. So anyway, with all of that, thanks for tuning in. I know I was a little late today, but this time change, you know, time is fluid for me. It's really difficult. If you've ever had me live on your show, you know that I always get confused with time and space. But I won't be here tomorrow. I'm doing my live on Sunday in my private group. But I will see you Monday, and we'll be bringing in a new angelic being for the season of Aries. So be sure to carry out the frequency and make it a magical weekend, I say. Ashe.